Chapter 14.
What?
So out of the blue, Lisa contacted me and I told her about the latest crap Ryan did, and we couldn't agree more. We agree full-heartedly about Ryan rotting in hell. Lisa appeared on one of our shows with her bleached blonde hair on one of the famous shows where she whipped me with a belt, live on camera. We tried to get Kevin as the victim, but Kevin didn't want to be beaten with a belt. He didn't find the humor, so I took it for the team. Lisa was working on voice lessons and began trying to sing, and she was trying to get a singing contract. She worked with a self proclaimed life coach and singing coach, Nomega. Nomega worked with her and she began working on singing and an album. I didn't think she could sing, but I was being nice about it. She spent a lot of time with me, so I was trying to get her to ride Space Mountain and be able to feel the ride. Close, but no cigar. With all the marital issues she had, couldn't get her to give up the poon. What? So I get a bronze award for getting her close to giving it up. No. New Year's Eve, her mother Rebecca went with me to New Year's Eve in place of Lisa. Though what I couldn't get from the daughter, I definitely got the mother with a lick and promise. Rebecca rode Space Mountain with a smile cheek to cheek. I hope she told her daughter what she was missing, though we will never know. Lisa and I continue our so-called sexless relations, and it all came to a drastic halt when she badmouthed me to my webmaster who created my website. She made some unflattering comments, but that's to be expected from a user, though again, what she didn't give up, her mother should did. I think there was a song talking about the same scenario, but I digressed. Meanwhile, just when I thought Sue chapter was over, I get a phone call from, you guessed it, Sue! She said, "How are you, honey?" I said, "Who is this?" And she laughed and said, "You don't know who this is? It is your maid, honey." I said, "I have no clue." She said, "It's Sue." I said, "Look, you have taken me to the cleaners and mind fuck with my mind long enough." She said, "I'm leaving him and I want you to come and get me." I said, "Look, I'm not falling for this shit." I said, "You're welcome to call me back, but now I have to go." She then said, "I'll call you back." But she said her mind was set to come back home with me. I told Kevin, and Kevin told me, "You're probably walking into a trap." Matt was the only one who encouraged me to go out there and see her one more time. My last disbursement was coming of the inheritance, and my mission was to invest it in a coffee house or business. Putting it in IRA Roth was another solution, but I needed to put it away. So my financial advisor strongly urged me to put it away rather than invest. I didn't heed the warning of my financial advisor. The Gorgeous George show went into another season looking for that female co host. We met a few people, and Kevin encouraged me to bring Rossi on the show, the one who introduced us 10 years ago. So Rossi came on our new season and performed some songs, along with our friend Wendy Pace, who helped us tremendously, while I was trying to figure out where to invest the last of my inheritance. Wendy tried to encourage me to buy a breakfast eatery Chester, Virginia. Everything seemed right and even the price, and Wendy was willing to run it and encouraged me to hire her to run it. It all seemed great, but I saw the pride books of the restaurant and its books and had cold feet. Ended up not doing it, thinking it would be risk. Meanwhile, Kevin, Vince, and I finished our 2007 season in August. Going into 2008, LaDonna invites me to Vegas while Sue still contacts me to come see her as well. I ignored Sue and got ready to spend New Year's with LaDonna. Flew out there, got my rental, and it was after Christmas Day near New Year's Day. This time around, I stopped in Dallas to catch a Cowboys game through the lady I used to get prime seated tickets from, a lady named Ronnie. Cowboys were playing the Niners and ended up losing a very close game. Then it was straight to Vegas for New Year's in Vegas. The streets were crowded, and the strip seemed to be crowded hours before the ball dropped. LaDonna came to my hotel room, and I bought a bottle of bubbly. Some Dom Perignon. She brought her cousin and supposedly her ex, who just got out of jail, also came. I said, I nudged LaDonna and said, Who is he? She said, I'm sorry for not telling you about him, but he just got out of jail today, and I promised to hang out with him for New Year's, forgetting you were coming down to see me. I said, I hope we all can coexist. I said, yeah, just kinda thought it would be just you and I only. She said, everything will be fine. Then she told me about her cousin and said, why don't you get close to my cousin tonight? She is a lot of fun and can make your night. I said, again, I wanted to hang out with you, but yeah, I guess since you promised to hang out with him, why you are kind of pushing me off in her direction. So the night progressed, staying at the Sahara Hotel, while we gathered in the crowd drinking at the bar. This friend of hers started getting into an argument with LaDonna while they head back to my room, leaving me and Paula, LaDonna's cousin, at the bar. After 15 minutes of no LaDonna and her friend, I told Paula, hang at the bar. I'm going to look and find out where they are. I went back to the room, and there they were arguing. While I walked in the room, I saw LaDonna and her friend arguing. I walked up and said, what's going on here? LaDonna said, they are trying to iron out a difference. I said, we only have an hour in half before the ball drop. I said, let's do the night right and ring in 2008 on a good note. I took an instant dislike to this individual that was an ex of LaDonna's. While I walked back out of the room, her friend walked right out after me, while LaDonna used the bathroom and met us back downstairs. I went down the elevator with her friend and had a stare down. So he asked me, what's your affiliation with LaDonna? He said he's overprotective of her. I looked at him and said, I'm friends with LaDonna, and she's friends with my ex-girlfriend. Then he said, Crazy Sue. Oh, I know her. Then he said, why are you spending more time with LaDonna than you are with Sue then? I looked at him and said, really and truly, it's none of your business. He said, oh, it's his business. She's my girl. I said, save your tough guy routine with me, jailbird. Your act doesn't work with me. You truly need to shut your mouth because I'm about 10 seconds putting you on the ground. He said, why don't you try? I stood and towered over him. I said, I roll your ass right now in this elevator. I think it's best for you
to shut your mouth.
Just then the elevator opened. I stared him down and he didn't move until I walked out of the elevator. There was definitely tension in the room and around us. I'm pretty sure he caught my drift because he claimed up real fast. LaDonna came thereafter. I whispered in her ear and told her I'm going to lay her ex on the floor and to keep him away from me. She said, just hang around, Paula, and let me play my role with him tonight, and I'll make it up to you. I said, fine. And then we proceeded to the bar where Paula and that little prick were standing. Then we proceeded to walk on the strip, and 2008 was ready to come. Walking through the crowds, we agreed if we lost one another to meet at a certain spot. The ball came down, and it was the first New Year's Eve away from Virginia, and my only New Year's Eve in
Vegas.
rocking in 2008. Paula and I got separated from LaDonna and her ex. That night proceeded hours later after Paula and I walked down the strip together. Just then, she got a phone call from that prick saying LaDonna got drunk and sick, and they are back in the room. So then, me and Paula were rushing into getting back to the room to check on LaDonna. Dude was trying to wake her up, and she wouldn't get up from the bed. He kept yelling, we need to get back home and wake up. Finally, I said, Let her sleep it off, and I'll make sure she gets back home. Then he yells out, "Oh, no, you don't. I'm not leaving her here with you." I said, "She's been with me before passing out, so get over it, dude." He yelled at Paula, "Wake her up so we can leave." I said, "Perhaps you didn't fucking hear me. Let her stay here to sleep it off, and I'll make sure she gets home." I said to Paula, "Get the prick out of my room before I physically threw him out." Paula then said, "He's just concerned about her. I'll get him calmed down if you could call us to let her know when she wakes up." I said, "Fine, will do. But get that punk out of my room before I throw his ass out." Finally, they left, and LaDonna laying on the bed. I said, "I'm going to head back out and get some rest." Just before I left, I stroked her hair and said, "Get some rest." She woke up and said, "Don't leave," and lay with me. I said, "I'll lay with you for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to head out. If you leave before I get back, call me." I lay with her on the bed and stroked her hair and massaged her body while she rested. 30 minutes passed, and I said, "I'm going to play roulette downstairs. Just see yourself out and call me later." I left the room and came back 2 hours later, and she was still laying on the bed, and my phone was ringing off the hook from Paula. I said, "I just got back in the room, and she's still laying on the bed. I'll get her up." I finally woke her up and told her, "Paula is calling for you. So go ahead and call her and let her know what you're going to do and heading back." Madonna woke up and said, "Thank you, George. You are a good man. I just wish you would have stayed with me in bed." I said, "If you want, we could visit the possibility and have some fun. Hun, it's your decision on what you want to do. If you want to spend a day with me, we can make up for some lost time and spend some quality time together. That asshole X can rot in hell." Then my phone rang and it was Paula again. So I said, "Here, talk to them and tell them what you want to do. Either way, I don't care." Finally, LaDonna woke up fully and said, "George, I'm going to have to go. If not, he's going to get Paula to keep calling your phone." I said, "That's fine. Just call me later. I'll be in town for another few days." Anyway, after she left, I got on the bed and got some sleep myself, and then took off the next day, leaving LaDonna a message saying I had to leave back home, but I'll be back during the summer. Keep me updated on what's going on. Also mentioned that Sue had contacted me and spent time wanting me to visit her again.